While others are still starving in the wilderness, this man has already built an ancient water wheel with his bare hands. With its power, he can cut wood, grind wheat, catch fish, and live a life of freedom by the river. This is William, a civil engineering graduate, who has returned to this land after 4 years to relive the past and create a new masterpiece. Looking at the traces he left behind, William remembers himself as a naive young man when he first came here. Back then, his methods were clumsy. Now, with knowledge and skill, he is determined to create something far greater. He sees a massive fallen tree beside the river. The idea is clear: with the help of the flowing water, he will build a powerful waterwheel device. The first step is to clear the land for construction. Since his height hasn't changed at all, William decides to keep the old wooden bed he once built. To safely handle the fallen tree, he ties 2 nearby trees together with rope. This way, when the large trunk shifts or falls, it will be firmly controlled, protecting him from injury. With safety ensured, the real work begins. He starts sawing the log into pieces. But with just a small hand saw, it is painfully slow and almost useless against such large timber. Thankfully, the forest is full of deadwood, allowing him to quickly gather plenty of logs. Switching to a steel saw, he finds that the job becomes easier. Logs can now be cut into planks with effort. Still, this process would take forever by hand. That is why William becomes more determined than ever to complete the water wheel. Because he left in a hurry and forgot to bring iron nails, William makes his own wooden pegs. Using a simple hand tool, he drills holes and carves pegs with little effort. He prepares pegs of different sizes, carefully planning ahead for the construction. Exploring further, he discovers a large wheat field nearby. Without hesitation, he gathers plenty of wheat, ensuring that food will not be a problem in the days to come. Next, he turns to the base frame of the water wheel. By carving precise grooves into beams, William begins building the foundation. He uses the ancient mortise and tenon carpentry method, a technique recorded in the famous Luban classics of Chinese woodworking. With this method, buildings can last for generations, even long after people are gone. For extra stability, he applies triangular support structures, creating strong anchor points. To resist the constant force of water, William adds additional beams on both sides and even customizes a water channel below. This allows him to both maximize the power of the current and reduce friction, making the flow more efficient. His engineering mind combines ancient wisdom with practical physics. The base is now ready, and the next step is the most critical: the wheel itself. He cuts wooden planks and arranges them at 120-degree angles. Using his hand drill, he pierces through the center and drives in long wooden pegs to hold the planks together. To prevent shifting during rotation, he secures the hub with 4 shorter pegs around the center. The wheel begins to take shape, but it must be perfectly round to function properly. To achieve this, William invents a giant compass. He inserts wooden pegs into an iron pipe, seals both ends to block the air, and heats it over a fire. While waiting for it to carbonize, he boils water for coffee and takes a walk, discovering a cornfield nearby. Unlike last time when he secretly gathered wheat, this time he boldly collects corn before returning to his work. By then, the wooden peg inside the pipe has fully carbonized, perfect for use as a drawing tool. Using the carbonized peg as a pen and a plank as radius, he draws a precise circle on the wood. Sawing off the excess, the round shape of the wheel is revealed. As the day comes to an end, he inserts the wheel into the base, sets a beam across the top, and covers it with waterproof cloth. It may look crude, but it provides shelter from wind and rain. That night, William sleeps soundly to the soothing sound of running water. At dawn, he wakes refreshed and starts his day with a cup of black coffee. The temporary shelter is taken apart, and he continues trimming the water wheel. He carves a square hole in the center, then constructs a square axle from planks. Wrapping it with bark strips, he shapes it into a cylinder. By fitting the wheel on both sides of this axle, the main body of the water wheel is complete. However, for smooth operation, a rotating shaft is necessary. William inserts the shaft into the square axle and sets it on the base. Finally, the wheel spins freely with the river current. To prevent it from slipping, he fixes it with short wooden pegs. Next, he adds multiple blades around the wheel, along with a connecting rod, turning it into a true power source. Looking at his progress over 2 days, William feels deeply satisfied. While exploring, he also finds wild blueberries, providing essential vitamins. On his way back, he discovers an abandoned fishing net. This will be invaluable for catching fish right at his doorstep. For now, he focuses on finishing the water system. He carves grooves into beams, inserts one long and one short stick, and secures them with wooden pegs. These are attached firmly to the connecting rod. With the addition of wooden shoes, the water wheel mechanism is complete. But William does not stop there. He plans to build an automated sawmill. He shapes long beams, carves grooves, and fixes them together with pegs to form a solid base. Now it is time to test the design in reality. He positions the water wheel at the steepest drop of the river, where the current is strongest. This ensures maximum power output for his sawmill. Meanwhile, thinking about food, William sets up the fishing net. He ties one end to a stone to weigh it down into the river and secures the other end to a peg on the shore. All that remains is to wait patiently for fish to swim into the trap. With evening approaching and no permanent shelter, he quickly uses his old wooden bed to construct a small hut. He lights a fire, finally resting after a long day of labor. The next morning, his first action is to check the fishing net. To his delight, there are fish caught inside, a male and a female. Strangely, he releases the female, leaving the pair forever separated. He cleans the male fish, scrapes off the scales, removes the organs, and seasons it with salt. Slowly roasting it over charcoal, he carefully turns it to avoid burning. The fish is crispy on the outside, tender inside, and together with coffee, it feels like a luxurious meal in the wilderness. With strength restored, William returns to his sawmill. He raises a log and secures it with supports, then fixes a sliding rail to ensure smooth motion. He sprinkles powdered charcoal to reduce friction. He mounts a steel saw onto the linkage, tightening it with screws until the blade is firm and straight. Finally, he connects the saw to the water wheel and adds guiding rollers. The machine is ready. The automated sawmill comes to life as the water wheel powers it. To test it, William hooks a log with a wooden claw, ties it with rope, and lets the current drag it into place. Slowly but steadily, the saw cuts through the log. The rhythm may be slow, but the planks are smooth and neat. His invention works perfectly, an automated sawmill powered entirely by the river. Next, William turns his attention to food again. As a true northerner, he cannot live without flour. He builds a grinding machine by crafting a cone-shaped container with a lid. Mounted on a base, with a stone plate embedded at the end, the device crushes grains with ease. He adds a hammer rod fixed with wooden pegs, completing the system. Pouring wheat inside, he watches it ground into fine flour before his eyes. With flour in hand, he can make countless foods: bread, noodles, dumplings, buns, pancakes, and more. Mixing it with water and salt, he kneads dough and cooks it in a pot. The result may look odd, but the taste is good enough to satisfy him. Eating heartily, William regains his energy. The day's tasks are complete, and now he turns to his next project, building a permanent home. Following tradition, he begins with 4 logs as the foundation. He fixes upright pillars with wooden pegs and uses his endless supply of planks to lay down the floor. An A-frame structure forms the roof. Then he constructs a door frame and secures it tightly. For efficiency, he first builds a bed frame according to his 6-foot height, cutting planks to fit perfectly on top. The roof is carefully layered with overlapping planks for waterproofing. Every piece is fitted precisely, forming a seamless cover. The house takes shape with a strong and elegant design. To ensure safety, William crafts a proper wooden door. For comfort, he fills his bed with wood shavings, covers it with fabric, and even makes a pillow. A wooden table completes the living space. Finally, he carves a chimney opening in the roof and installs a small fireplace fueled by corn cobs. The cabin becomes warm and cozy, providing both safety and comfort. Outside, he checks his fishing net again. Though the fish are small, their meat is tender. He coats them in corn flour and fries them until golden and crispy, making a delicious meal. The once empty forest now provides him with everything he needs. In his cabin, under candlelight, William enjoys his dinner alone. Yet solitude here is not loneliness, it is freedom. In the wilderness, he has proven that with skill, patience, and creativity, one can build not just survival, but a life of peace, independence, and harmony with nature.